Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join me for the Championship preview show. Round number 21. Full action this weekend. Fingers crossed that whole great spate of COVID cancellations is possibly a thing of the past. Looks like we've got a full complement this weekend, although I'm sure a load of testing will be going on today, and we hope everyone gets through okay and we get a nice round of 12 games. Let me know if you can see me, hear me loudly and clearly. As ever, we need your help with the predictions. So we will go through game by game. We will go through from the top of the table to the bottom of the table. Please get involved in the comments. Two things: predict the game that we're talking about at the time, and the other thing, ask questions about the game that we're talking about at the time. And I will reiterate, we'll go from top to bottom. Before we get started, we need to say a big thank you to our fan sponsor, the Donovan brothers, in loving memory of Michael Donovan of South East London, a lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. Lovely tribute. Thank you to the Donovan brothers for their sponsorship. We're getting our act together over on Patreon now, working towards regular weekly content that in the end will hopefully match what we're doing for free on YouTube. So please go over and subscribe over on Patreon. You can also support via Super Chat at any point during the broadcast. First Super Chat becomes the king of the bin and, wins the sponsorship to the fake news sin bin for the duration of the preview stream. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitter or Facebook, please hit the thumbs up, draw more people to the stream. Most importantly, get your comments in and your predictions. That is the cornerstone of the channel, the interaction with subscribers. And with that being said, please subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. Help us to grow. I can update that ticker because we're 13,900. The next target is 14,000 subscribers. Let's say hello to you guys in the comments. Afternoon to Matt in Melbourne. Nice. Carl, Mel, Mr. E, Philip, John, Bits. Typo. Oh, there we go. First mistake of the day. 27. Sorry. I think it was 21 in the Premier League. Might not have even been a typo, Chris. I might have just got the wrong one. Max. Hi to Paul. Thank you for super chatting yesterday, Paul. Ewan, Alistair, Sean. Right. Let's get into this. And here are our fixtures. As I said, hopefully we're going to get all 12 because it seems to have been a while and we don't want... obviously we want the health of the country to be improving gradually, but we don't want the league table to be all over the place either, do we? Tonight, Reading versus Bournemouth. Join me for the watch along. We'll start at 7:45. Tomorrow, early kickoff, Norwich, Middlesbrough. The plan is to start the Saturday Super Stream early to catch the second half of that one. We're going to try that out this week. I've kind of been torn between doing two shows on a Saturday or just really justifying calling it the Super Stream and catching the second half as a kind of watch along, and then we can build up at 2:00 when we get the teams in as well. So that's the plan. We're going to be starting a little bit earlier on Saturday. Birmingham, Coventry, Blackburn, Luton, Brentford, Wickham, Cardiff, Millwall, Derby, Bristol City, Huddersfield, Stoke, Forest, Barnsley, Rotherham, Swansea, Wednesday, Preston, and then strangely, on a Monday night there, Watford versus QPR. We will go ahead with the review show as normal on Sunday morning without Watford and QPR having played. I think we'll give that enough coverage because we're going to watch it on Monday night. There's the plan, everybody. Should we get into the predictions and get your predictions in for Norwich City versus Middlesbrough and a quick another bit of business. Another? Is that a word? Another bit of business. Transfer update video tomorrow I have got a list as long as my arm, 15 transfers already through. And yes, I am aware that 2 of them are at Borough. Yannick Balassi and Darnell Fisher have just tweeted the most Warnock player ever, joining up with Warnock at Borough. That seems like a marriage made in heaven, doesn't it? Or hell for Borough's opponents. So, transfer update video tomorrow morning, because I'm sure we'll have a few more go through before the deadline to play this weekend, and then we'll have the mad rush, won't we, on Monday, basically when the window closes. All of that being said, there is the table. Norwich, just the 6 points clear now after Swansea drew with Brentford, but a lovely healthy lead for the Canaries and a 3-game winning streak. Borough, 3 defeats in 4 off the back of 4 wins in 6. Let's check the home and away. Norwich, well, they're excellent everywhere, so it would stand to reason that they're excellent at home. 4 wins in 5, just a solitary draw there against QPR. Who else have they played? Forest, Cardiff, QPR, Barnsley, and Bristol City. So no top 6 teams in there, but hey, they're beating them all anyway, aren't they, this season? Borough's away form, fairly middle in there, 11th, but 3 wins in the last 4 for Borough, winning at Forest, Wickham, and indeed Birmingham City. Let's look at the recent run. Look at that Norwich form. 6 wins and a draw in the last 8 for Norwich. 19 points in 8 games, just going under to Watford. However, this would be the highest ranked team. Oh no, they did win at Reading, didn't they, Norwich? Can we caveat that by saying that was when Reading had Moore and Maite and Zhao injured? I don't know. I can't then say what I was going to say. This is the highest ranked opponent Norwich have faced in the last while. It's not, is it? Because Reading would indeed have been. For Borough, spotty, isn't it? Look, wins there against Luton and Birmingham, Wickham and Forest. Defeats against Rotherham, Blackburn, Birmingham and Wednesday. So a little bit up and down. We were for a while saying, oh, well, Borough better at home than they were away from home. But 3 home defeats on the bounce. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. What have we got here? 2-0 to Norwich. Only 1 team to play in the top 8 in February. Decent sized gap. Decent sized gap already, Julian. Borough in poor form at the wrong time for this trip, says Chris. I was going to super chat today, but then I'd have to ask you to sponsor me, and I appreciate you are not at your richest. I don't know when I've ever been at my richest, Paul, but thank you very much for your super chat yesterday. 2-1 Norwich, 4-1 Norwich. Didn't expect Fisher to leave Preston. That came out of nowhere. Preston, certainly lots of movement in the transfer window. They've been the one. Max says, tricky game for both sides. Borough have looked a little more gettable recently. 2-1 to Norwich. Opinion on Borough signing Fisher. We'll do transfer opinions in the update tomorrow morning. Home win, says Chris. Should be Norwich, but Warnock want to bounce back. Away, home. We were playing Semedo up front, so can't count that. There we go. Get the caveats in. 3-1 Norwich, says Dan. Norwich 2-1. Pookie should be back. Yes, I think Hugill is injured. Hoping to see new Greek fullback. He'd do well to get in the team with that Sørensen. Playing very well there. Borough to stuff the Canaries, pile some pressure on them. It's getting far too easy for them this season. Borough's 3 recent wins, all away, but all against teams in the bottom 6. We'll go with logic. Not that it always works in the Championship. Norwich versus Middlesbrough. Home win. Shall I start doing that, or will that get annoying? Like the what sport is it where they do that? Where they get it NFL? I think, I don't know. 1-1 draw. There we go. We've got a couple in there. I do like the capital letters. I'm endorsing this draw. There we go. Home. That sounds fun. Maybe I need to get some of my own cards done with that on. Matt says 2-0 Norwich. Let's move on to Rotherham versus Swansea. Rotherham versus Swansea. Get your predictions in for this one. What a win by Rotherham over at Neil Warnock's Middlesbrough in the week. However, Swansea, I'm going to start calling them durable. They were very durable against Brentford. They should have lost, shouldn't they? But despite conceding chances, a few tactical fouls, a little bit of time wasting at the end, they hung in there, didn't they? And they got a point. That's what that Swansea defence is able to do this season. In terms of the Swans, well, let's look at the recent form. Up there in second place. They're just not losing games at the moment, are they? You can see the last 6 there for Swansea. 2 points per game for sure there. Win, win, draw. Win, win, draw. That's 14 points from 6. So very decent. Just that defeat at Derby 7 games ago. They have played in that time as well. Barnsley and Reading and Watford and Barnsley again and Brentford. So Swansea have had a tricky run and kept up the good form during it. And then look, 2 games time, they've got Norwich. So real gut check time for Swansea. If they get through this and they're still in the top 2, you'd have to start thinking a real challenge there for Brentford, maybe for that second place, and Watford. Rotherham, out of nowhere, 7 points in 3. An away win at Derby, a mad 3-3 draw at Stoke, and then a brilliant away win with a clean sheet at Borough. Very impressive stuff from the Millers. Good in the transfer market as well. Giles in the left wing back who was on loan from Wolves at Coventry earlier in the season. Swansea as well, I suppose. Hourihan into a sort of flat midfield 3. A lot of Swans excited. Maybe it's the unknown, the exoticism of the American striker Jordan Morris coming in as well. Let's see what you guys say in the chat for this one. What have we got here? Aussie rules, was it? There we go. Here we are. Okay, Alistair says away. So does Sam. 3-1. Rotherham to hold on for a goalless draw. 1-0 Rotherham. Rotherham 6 goals in the last 2 games. And Matt Crooks, the goal scoring number 10. Nice. Draw 1-0. Away. Swans 2-1. 0-0. Swans 2-0. Away 3-0 Swans. There we go. There's a home win in there. Swans have been churning it out. We love the churn, don't we? Rotherham been scoring goals in the last few games. 3-2 Swans. 1-1. Would love to see Rotherham stay up. Warren, top guy. That's the most Norwich slant you could have put on that possible. Warren's a Norwich fan, isn't he? And 1-1 would suit Norwich. Down to the ground there, Julian. Please leave your bias at the door. I'm only joking, Jules. Draw, says Mel. Another Norwich fan, not wanting Swansea to win, I think there. Swansea, 6 wins in the last 8. Don't quite trust Rotherham's improved form. Sorry, Iain. Is Iain here at the moment? There you go. You can say that. 2-2. Away. Away win. Away win. I think the pattern for Swansea at the moment is they're not losing the tough games. They are knocking over the bottom 6, aren't they? So let's go with an away win and the top 2 to both be winning this weekend. Watford versus QPR. Predictions in the comments. Watford versus QPR. Don't they normally play friendlies against each other quite a lot, these two? This will not be a friendly. And let's just flag it up because it's so damn good. Here's Watford's home form. Boom. 10 wins in 13, 32 points. Most points by any home team in the Championship this season. Brilliant stuff. QPR's away form, well, 16th. But look at the last 5 games. 9 points from 5 and unbeaten away from home. Brilliant stuff from QPR of late away from home. However, they did come a cropper in the last game at the improving Derby County, who are very hard to score against. Watford under Xisco. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 wins and a draw in 6. And they've broken the seal of the away form, haven't they? 4 points in the last 2. Difficult games as well at Stoke and Millwall. Not easy teams to score against those two. And Watford did manage to do that, despite Watford still having the air of a group of good players rather than a well-drilled team as yet. But hey, like I said, Xisco's only been in there 6 games, hasn't he? So we'll give him a bit of time, won't we? Not that the Potsos might do the same. Rangers, well, since Charlie Austin's return there, 2 wins in 3, but a disappointing home reverse against Derby. A very difficult game here. Prior to that, a creditable draw at Norwich, lost to Swansea, so a couple of difficult games in there. Couldn't beat Wycombe or Stoke prior to that. Let's have a look at your predictions. Watford versus QPR. What have we got here? There we go. Oh, we're still talking Rotherham there. Here we go. Right. Home, Watford win. 0-0. 3-0 Watford. Home. Watford too strong. Watford. Home. 3-0 Deeney. Penalty hat-trick. All 3 of them down the middle. Hit gradually harder with each penalty. Watford to win. Banker. Lee says QPR win. There we go. 2-1 Watford. 1-1. 1-1. 1-0 Watford. 1-0 Horns. 1-0 Watford. Another team that's too good for the Championship. Can they get that pattern of play sorted then? Away win. Austin to score. Always have hope. Nice. Home. QPR win. In the main, not many seeing QPR getting points in this one. Home win. Home win. Watford to keep up that excellent home record. And they've still got that kind of drilling that Ivic gave that defence, haven't they? They do still look very, very tight and just a lot of star quality in that team. I think we can get another predictable one coming up. Brentford versus Wycombe. Brentford versus Wycombe, please. Game number 4. Predictions in the comments, please. Brentford versus Wycombe. Brentford surely will be pleased with their performance against Swansea the other night. Look, if you're not going to win, don't lose and have a viable performance. And it was very much a viable performance at Brentford. They really should have won that game, shouldn't they? But they didn't, and they move on. And Brentford and Swansea's future is not going to be decided in the games between each other. Dead loss. They drew both. So whoever finishes higher is going to do so against the 22 other teams in the league table. Brentford, well, keep counting the undefeated streak. Where are we now? 17? Is it? It's like the Undertaker at WrestleMania, isn't it? I've lost count. Who's going to be the Brock Lesnar to beat him? I wonder. So Brentford, yeah, look at that. 4 wins and a draw, and obviously the draw in those circumstances. Wycombe, feels like they haven't played many games recently. They are well adrift now, given the rising tide above them, i.e. Derby 9 points in 5, Forest 8 points in 5, Rotherham 7 points in 3, Sheffield Wednesday 10 points in 5. They've just got left behind now, Wycombe, haven't they? They do, however, have games in hand on every team down there. And they do have 2 games in hand on Derby. But I'll say it over and over again. When you see games in hand, do not calculate that at 3 points per game. You need to calculate that at well under 1 point per game, which is what Wycombe have put out for the first half of the season. Let's do our home and away tables. Brentford, 6th best home team in the division. Just that mad defeat at home to Preston, where they were 2-0 up and lost 4-2. 3 straight home wins. Wycombe's away form is the worst in the league. 5 points in 11 games. I can see where we're probably all going with the prediction on this one. Stranger things have happened. We did this as a League Cup game at the start of the season, didn't we? And Brentford won on penalties and ultimately progressed to the semi-finals of the League Cup. 10 points in the last 4 for Brentford. And in that time, they have played Bournemouth and Swansea. So both Brentford and Swansea need some credit there for keeping up their really good form in the face of difficult runs. That's what teams at the top of the table do. Wycombe, yeah, I was right, have not played a game in the league since losing to Borough on the 2nd of January. Let's have a look at your predictions. Before I do it, I'll do one where I don't get your advice first. Home win. Home win. Be a coupon buster if it wasn't. What are you guys saying in the comments? Brentford lost 1 at home. Wycombe won once away. Brentford 3, Wycombe 0. Away. There we go. Home. Away, says Richard. There's a Richard, you're a Norwich fan, aren't you? There's a real pattern here with Norwich fans, isn't there? Wanting their opponents to, or rather predicting their opponents to lose rather than just wanting them to. Bees 2-0. Wycombe win. Akinfenroff, a brutal pull. 5-0 Bees. I've gone for the top 3 to win. Not often that every team at the top wins. I'm going for a shot Wycombe win. It does happen, Chris. Often you see the what I call the green stripe on the table. I think it happened a few weeks ago, didn't it? Where we had WWWWW all the way down to like 7th place, didn't we? Wycombe to dominate the first 20 minutes. 2-2 away. Goodness me. Here we go. 4-1 to Brentford. Gareth McCleary to score for Wycombe. Niche. If Wycombe win, I'll dive in my next match. Okay. 3-0 Wycombe. Just kidding. Nervy 1-0 win for Brentford. Home 5-1. It would be very Brentford to upset everyone's accumulator. I retract that. Akinfenroff off his trap muscles. Yeah. 2-0 Bees. Home win could get messy. 6-0. Wow. There we go. I'll put that one up. Okay. Now this one. Good luck calling this one. But this one won't be predictable. Reading versus Bournemouth, which is tonight's watch-along, and a beautifully poised match. Sky, for once, getting their selection correct there. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this one. So Reading I think they've impressed all of us, really, with how they've come back from the 4-game losing streak after the ridiculous start. It felt like those first 11 games, or 12 games, in fact, 7 wins and a draw in the first 8, that wasn't going to sustain. 4 straight defeats, that wasn't going to sustain. But then in the next 13 games, they've stayed in that top 5 and they've hit another 22 points from those next 13 games, which is decent enough and has been enough when you add it onto the brilliant first 8 points total. Look at the last 5 games. They have 11 points. They should have 13 because they missed 80th, 81st minute penalty away at Preston on the last watch-along. They should be on 46, shouldn't they? Just tucked in behind Watford and Swansea. But impressive job by Paunovic. I think, someone will tell me in the chat, Yaku Maite is returning. And it does now look like a real possible playoff season for Reading now, doesn't it? Just get Liam Moore back in. Can they keep Zhao fit? Can they keep Elise, Maite, Swift, etc. fit? What Reading don't have that obviously the 3-year one parachute teams do is the ability when they do lose key players to, if Norwich lose Pookie, they bring in Hugo. If Norwich lose, whoever, they've got a really, really good squad. So have Watford and Bournemouth, slightly less so given the signings and the sales have been a little bit more skewed in the outward direction there. But Reading, the most hurt, I think, this season by injuries to key players. Don't all yell at me, Stoke and Norwich and Millwall fans about injury crises. Listen to what I said, to key players, for them to have more Richards and Zhao out at the same time would be the equivalent of Norwich having Pookie, Aarons and Buendia out for a month. And we all know what would happen if that was the case, don't we? For the same instance, it would be the same as, Watford having Sarr, Firmino and Deeney all out for a month. It would make a big, big difference. Anyway, I'm talking myself in circles here. 5th and 6th in the table. Bournemouth are sliding, though, aren't they? But we do have transfer action at Bournemouth. Jack Wilshere obviously in, scoring against, Crawley in the Cup. And Ben Pearson has signed today. I think he's still injured, though, isn't he? So he's not going to be straight in. We do expect Josh King to be gone by Monday. But, hey, we expected him to be gone by September. Wasn't that a Wyclef Jean song? I'll be gone till September. No, gone in September, gone to September. Is that? I can't remember. Wyclef Jean. He did a song with The Rock, didn't he? Unbelievable. It doesn't matter. Bit of a wrestling theme today. My apologies. There is your recent Reading form, which is excellent. Just the defeats against Norwich and Brentford, teams above them. Bournemouth are below them, only by 1 place. Sue me. Bournemouth, you can see there, 1 win in 6 in games against Derby, Luton, Millwall, Stoke, Brentford, okay, and Luton. It's not the hardest run to have a slip. What do you guys think in the comments? I will plead the fifth on this one and not go with my prediction straight away. What have we got here in the chat? There we go. Draw, says Anir. Bournemouth 3-0 easy win. 1-1. Watch along, draw 0-0. That's absolute fake news, bitch. You know what? I'm going to do the research. Someone totted up the average goals in our watch-alongs. It's an absolute myth. Anytime we get a 0-0, someone assumes that watch-alongs are all 0-0. Poor form. You can do better than that, Bits. You're a statistics man as well, aren't you? Should be goals, draw despite Reading not having drawn at home all season. I didn't realise that. 2-1 Bournemouth, 2-1 Reading, 3-1 Bournemouth, 1-0 away, 2-1 Ding, Mate off the bench, Yidem, I don't know what that means. Not prepared to tempt fate. Cool in this one. You're in the wrong place then, Mr. E. Tough game. I think we'll win 2-1. Mate and Yidem are back. 2-0 Reading. Oh, what a great game that was. Unbelievable, wasn't it? 4-2. 3-2 Bournemouth. 2-0 Reading. 0-0. We hope not. It's a watch along. Tough game for both sides. Mate and Yidem reported to be back. What else have we got? Stanislas comeback hat trick. Deary me. What else? Mate has been out a long time. Yeah, he'll be on the bench. But hey, if you can line up Swift, Elise, and Ejaria, very good still, isn't it? We said that a while, haven't we? Be surprised if Reading don't get top 6 at this point. Borough, Bristol City, Stoke, and Blackburn aren't consistent enough. Agreed. Mate and Yidem are back. Can anyone confirm if Mate and Yidem are back? Tight home win. Wilshere only played a few days ago. Yeah, he'll be on the bench, won't he? Work his way back in. Working my way back to you, babe. Tough game, I think. And Yidem and Mate are back. There we go. This game reminds me of the Leeds home game in the playoff season. What happened in that one, Alistair? Home. An average goal of 0.000. I'm going to add it up. I promise. I'm going to add it up to debunk this incredible fake news that my watch-alongs don't have goals in. I'll do the math. I'll have it ready for tonight. I promise you. What am I predicting? Home win. I think Reading are really well organised, and I think they can do it. Home win. More fake news than CNN. Absolutely. Maybe this time Bournemouth go 2-up and Reading win. That's more like it, Bits. That's the spirit, isn't it? Rather than anyone besmirching my good name and slandering my wonderful our watch-alongs here. They're only good because of you lot. Derby versus Bristol City. Feels a very championship game, this, doesn't it? Derby versus Bristol City. Predictions in, please. An improving Derby team who are hellish to score against at the moment under Wayne Rooney, against the Bristol City team that I just give up on predictions with because I'm perpetually wrong when it comes to Bristol City. The game is at Pride Park. The table has Bristol City miles ahead of Derby, 14 points. Bristol City 3 wins in the last 5 games. But look at that. Bristol City have as many wins as Brentford, but as many defeats as QPR and Coventry. Ergo, they are quite inconsistent. Let's look at the home and aways quickly. Our home team are Derby, and they have, much in part to Philip Cocu as well. We have to give Rooney some credit there. The 23rd best home record in the league. However, 7 points in the last 5 at home is an improvement. 2 home defeats in there to boot, though. In terms of away, and Bristol City, look at that, 5 away wins for Bristol City. That's as good as Reading, better than Stoke, who are much higher than them in that particular league table. They do have 6 defeats. Inconsistency wherever you look when it comes to Bristol City at the moment. There's the recent derby form, and yes, we have 3 wins and 3 defeats in the last 6. The one consistent factor is the defence, isn't it? Because in those last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clean sheets in 8. And I believe in 12 games now, Derby have not conceded more than a single goal. So basically, over the last 12 games, if you've wanted to beat Derby, you've had to keep a clean sheet, basically, because they only concede the 1 goal. And Bristol City, just look how spotty it is. Look, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. Who do they beat? Huddersfield, Preston, Wickham. Who do they lose to? Preston, Luton, Norwich. Just, I can't find a pattern. And with that being said, let's go to the chat first to get the predictions. What have we got here in the chat? 1-0, Jan Kermigan. I think that's answering a question. Where are we here? Bristol City have lost 4 away in the league. The bit spirit. There we go. Bristol City win. Derby 420 5 big chances and 47 shots. 0-0. Ouch. 1-0 Derby. Come on, Bristol City. 1-0 Bristol City, says Nat. I think that's with his Sheffield Wednesday bias, not left at the door there. 3-0 City, home. 1-0 Bristol City. Henry Lansbury joining us, apparently. Hopefully they've done a good deal because he is on a whopper of a salary at Aston Villa. 2-1 Derby. Draw, 0-0, 1-1. Away, we have been very inconsistent, let's say. We are very clinical. God, they were in that home game against Huddersfield. How did Huddersfield not get out of there without anything? There we go. But they've got good attacking players, haven't they? Jeju on fire. Derby 1-0. 10 players out injured. How can we not be inconsistent? Well, I think every Norwich fan can argue how you can not be inconsistent with 10 players out. It's called a 45 million quid parachute payment and a massive squad. So, yeah, that's the only way around it. Absorbing massive injury crises like many teams have had this season. 1-1 says Matt. 2-0 Derby. Draw. 2-0 Derby. Yeah, that's on Sky. That's on Tuesday. That's not this round, though, is it? Strictly speaking, from a pedant. I might be at that game, actually. Fingers crossed. We are a top 6 side since Rooney took charge. Best defence in the league, too. Yes, we can all get behind that, but they've got to keep it up and make it a bigger sample size. Draw. Low-scoring draw in this one, given all we've just said. Sorry, a bit of an anticlimactic answer there. We are halfway through. I'm enjoying myself. I hope you are too. Excuse me. Sorry for violating channel policies. You did not, Annie. Only fake news is a violation of channel policies here. Huddersfield versus Stoke is our next one. What do we call that? The Tommy Smith Derby, although didn't know Tom Edwards went out on loan. There we go. The Tommy Smith Derby, we will call this one. Get your predictions in. Huddersfield versus Stoke. As we just mentioned, Huddersfield had one of those games against Bristol City in midweek where they had 100 shots and Bristol City had 2 and they lost 2-1. What are you going to do, hey? What are you going to do? The game is at Huddersfield, where for the longest time we were saying Huddersfield had a brilliant home record. They don't anymore. I think they lost 3 in a row at home. But Stoke also really trending in the wrong direction recently, haven't they? So let's do our home and away. So Huddersfield, yeah, they were bossing it at home, but 2 straight home defeats. So they do still have 7 home wins, which only Reading, Norwich and Watford can better. In terms of Stoke, gotta love Michael O'Neill. Look at that. 5 consecutive away draws in this one for Stoke. We know how miserly their defence is. However, as I always say, with pragmatic managers, you're never far from an undefeated record, but you're also never far from a winless record. And if those draws turn into defeats, which they have for Stoke, as you can see up there, all of a sudden, you're in a run of 6 games without a win and 4 points in 6 games, which is horrendous. Whereas if you made one of those losses a win and one a draw, you'd be saying, oh, we're 9 unbeaten or 8 unbeaten or whatever it is. So Stoke on the slide. And other than that mad 3-3 against Rotherham, where are the goals? Not many goals other than in that game, which does appear to be an outlier looking at the numbers. Huddersfield, however, 5 defeats in 6. I'm going to go ahead of the chat here. Draw. I've only got 1 away win so far. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Violate. Fingers crossed and wear a mask. 0-0. Boring game. Can feel it. Tom Ince Derby as well. Yeah, we'll go for that. Always get your derbies in for me. 1-0 Huddersfield. Stoke smash and grab. Home 1-0. Stoke 2-1. I was violating you by predicting a Bristol City win. Which dress will you buy, Ben? Not sure where we're going with that one. Draw. Both teams in horrible form. Huddersfield look like they are still playing okay. Huddersfield win. 1-0. Always like it when Ben appears in the comments here and calls me a lord or a sir. Comment of the day, as ever. Flattery will get you everywhere. Yes, watch along. Tonight, my friend. Draw. Julian says, meh. Obviously not looking forward to this one. Home. Had that same issue, pragmatism issue with Rowett. The margins are narrow. Away, assuming Fletcher starts. Stoke remind me of that Ipswich team who just drew all the time. God, an Ipswich team that draws all the time in the Championship. I'd even take that. Oh, no. Would I prefer? I just don't want to put up with Roy Keane again. Deary me. Draw, says Kieran. Town, says Logan. Stoke, says Matt. Mr. E, still time in the window for Stoke to get another winger in. I like that. That's tremendous. Ads on your stats website for various... Oh, what does it say? Oh, look at that. What a nice figure that lady has. Maybe I could buy one for the gorgeous Shaley. Hey, tremendous. Didn't Ipswich draw 1-1 about 6 games? Yes. Under Mick McCarthy. God, it was dull. Yeah. I remember it well. Only too well. Blackburn versus Luton. Blackburn versus Luton. Predictions in. Can anyone give me a derby for Blackburn versus Luton, i.e. a player who played for both? Blackburn versus Luton has the air of a mid-table scrap, doesn't it? Blackburn in 10th. Good form, though. 7 points in 3. Dak is back. Can they get Dak, Armstrong, Rothwell, Elliott all to kind of dovetail together? I wonder if they can. They should be able to push up towards that top 8, shouldn't they? Luton, where we always applaud their consistency and their endeavour as a only a Year 2 Championship team up from League 1. 33 points at 25 games. That's projecting out a decent, healthy sort of towards high 50s, towards 60 points for Luton, which will do them all day long. Let's do our home and away. Blackburn are our home side, and their home record is the 12th best in the division. Only 1 defeat in the last 5 and 8 points in those games. That's decent. Luton away from home, only the 4 away wins and 4 points in the last 5. Let's have a look at the recent pattern for both teams. You can see Blackburn, good away win at Borough. God, they've had to grind it out. Look, they've played against Warnock, O'Neill and Karanka in consecutive games and done well, actually, haven't they? They will not get a similarly pragmatic challenge against Luton, who will at least go for it in this one. Who do they lose to, Blackburn? Huddersfield, Stoke and Norwich. Luton's recent defeats to Brentford and QPR and Reading. So a couple of top 6 sides in there, although QPR is that an outlier. A win against Bournemouth, big mitigating factor. Jeff Lerma's red card was overturned, and I think most people on the stream called that as a bit of a tough decision there. So really, if you look at it, Luton have had quite a hard run there. Bournemouth twice, and Reading and Brentford in recent games. With that being said, I think Blackburn are going to have too much attacking prowess. And this is one team that Blackburn will face that won't sit back and low block Harvey Elliott and Adam Armstrong and Joe Rothwell. Try saying that. In the attack. Home win. What are you guys saying in the chat? Mike Newell. Well done, Sean. That's a great shout. Mike Newell. Although I always felt a bit sorry for Mike Newell because he was kind of upgraded for Chris Sutton and then Blackburn won the title, didn't they? But there we go. Great player, Mike Newell. Managed Luton, didn't he? Played for Everton as well. Great career he had. 1-1, says Carl. 3-2 Luton, as I'm a Preston fan. Leave your bias at the door, Dan, is the rules. We have a super chat that I will jump to straight away. Joseph is our hero. $4.99. Thank you. Love the streams. Watch Brentford go unbeaten for the rest of the season. Wow. Unbeaten bees. It's a long old run. God, that would be well over 30 games if they did do it. Thank you, Joseph, who becomes king of the bin. So any more slanderous comments besmirching my good nature will result in the fake news sin bin. Thank you very, very much, Joseph. Very, very kind. He becomes king of the bin. What have we got here? Draw away. Blackburn 1-0. Blackburn haven't beaten us in the league in 40 years. Wow. Is that one of those stats, though, Kieran, where they haven't played for 25 of those 40 years? Yes, Mike Newell played for both. 4-0 Luton, bogey team for Rovers. Dak, Armstrong, Elliott, Rothwell. I didn't want to think about it. I'm going to say 2-1 Luton. Apart from beating 10-man Bournemouth, Luton haven't won in 7 away. Pearson was ours. That was him. Home, says Chris. Blackburn might be on the up now. I think 2-1 Rovers. Rovers win. What else have we got? 2-1 Rovers. Luton. All over the place here. Luton 1-0. David Curry. Did he play for both? Great shout if he did. It would be 39 unbeaten. Wow. Still a stat. I'll take it. Now, Kieran, I'm just used to arguing with the Norwich fans all the time when they come at me with, oh, Ipswich haven't beaten Norwich for 11 years or whatever it is. And I point out they weren't in the same division for 6 of them or what it is. Oh, David Curry, Barnsley. There we go. Let's move on. Sheffield Wednesday versus Preston. Get your derbies, anyone who played for both off the top of your head in that one. Predictions in the comments, please. Sheffield Wednesday versus Preston. I should have brought a drink up with me. My voice is starting to go. Don't worry. It'll be all right for the watch-alongs. Tonight, Preston all over the shop in the transfer market. So Ben Pearson has gone out today, hasn't he? Darnell Fisher has gone out. Who came in? Ched Evans, Jay Mollenby, Ben Whiteman, Iverson, the goalkeeper. It's all change at Preston. I don't know whether that plays into your figuring of how this one goes, that Preston are now essentially spending the next 10 games bedding in a load of new players, and some very staged players have gone. I think Ben Davies has, I'll look at it on the, signed a pre-contract with Glasgow Celtic or Glasgow Rangers. No, Jack Simpson signed a pre-contract from Bournemouth with Glasgow Rangers. Ben Davies, has signed a pre-contract with Glasgow Celtic. Let me know if I'm wrong about that in the comments. I think I got it right. Anyway, Sheffield Wednesday had a really bad midweek, didn't they? Because everybody, the 2 teams directly above them won. They lost. And, of course, they were playing Coventry as well, which is sort of a direct relegation rival. But they're now 10 points clear of them. Not much happening at Wednesday in terms of transfer stuff. Let's have a look at our home and aways. Wednesday at home are the 15th best team in the league. However, are in the midst of a winning streak, 3 in a row, beating Coventry, Borough and Derby. So we have to doff our cap to Wednesday. Good home form, isn't it? Good little streak there away from home. Wow. Preston, 7 wins, 5 defeats, obviously. Preston have accumulated the third most points away from home in the entire division. They can go and win an away game. Let's have a look at the recent form. Wednesday, well, they were in tip-top form until that defeat, and then all of a sudden it's looking doom and gloom with the tide rising away from them. Obviously, 2 postponements hasn't helped, but that's what a 6-point deduction will do to you. It does really put you up against it. For Preston, I mean, if you take it over in, a 7-game period, they're in good form. 4 wins and a draw, 2 defeats in the last 7 is 13 points in 7 games. That's 1 off 2 points per game. So they're in decent form, but a lot of moving parts in the transfer window. I'm going to plead the 5th, although I'm edging towards an away win in this one, I have to say. What are you guys saying? That's like saying Sheffield United haven't beaten Man United away in 48 years. Ha! Haven't beaten Man United away in 3 days, have they? There we go. Wilf Crompton derby, Blackburn. Nice. Did you look that one up, Paul? Impressive knowledge if you didn't. Preston, are they in trouble? Seem to be losing players. Well, they're signing players in the background. 1-0 Owls, 3-0 Preston, 3-0 Wednesday, home. Roy Keane derby, stop it. Pleading the 5th on this one. Ched will score against the Owls. I refuse to besmirch their good name. It's worrying for Preston that they've sold these players but not got a decent fee. Very good point, Chris. Although we don't know the fee, we're in undisclosed land, but you would think for Ben Pearson, they've got, well, you're let's say 99% likely to be right. They haven't got a decent fee, although we don't quite know until about a year and a half's time when the accounts come out what they've actually got. 2-0 Preston, away win, Wednesday win. It wouldn't be the first time Northern teams fall into financial trouble recently. Ched will score in gloves. 0-0. Most of them away in the first 15 games. Good point, Bits. 1-0 S-House. That would be the way, wouldn't it? Away! I'm going for an away win. Why the hell not? Sorry, Nat. Sorry, Wednesday fans. Away win. Right. We've got to go and pick up the dogs from getting their haircuts. And I've got 3 games to go. Let's do this. Got to be there by 2:30. We can do this, providing I don't waffle. What are the chances of me not waffling? Slim. Nottingham Forest versus Barnsley. Forest, Barnsley. Anyone played for those two? Anyone off the top of your head? Forest versus Derby. Predictions in the comments. Forest were in nice form, and then they lost, didn't they? Who was that to? Borough. At home, they were 12 points in 6 leading up to that. Barnsley will feel that they should have beaten Mick McCarthy's Cardiff the other night. They were 2-0 up, weren't they? And there was a situation that had it been possibly refereed in a slightly more correct way, that Barnsley would have had a penalty and Cardiff would have been down to 10 men for the vast lump of the game. So Cardiff getting out alive with a point. Typical Mick. Got to love it, haven't you? Let's look at the homes and aways. Remember Barnsley as well, just coming off a 3-game losing streak, but those 3 games were played against Norwich, Swansea and Watford, the literal top 3. Forest at home, only 4 wins this season. Poor for Forest, but 7 points in the last 4 at home. Those being victories against Sheffield Wednesday, Birmingham and Millwall. Are they flat track bullies? Who knows? Barnsley's away form, 3 defeats in 4. However, we do have to factor in one of them was at Watford, one of them was at Norwich, and one of them was at Swansea, who are, again, literally the top 3. They've had a difficult run of games. Barnsley, let's look at it in a touch more detail. And you can see, yeah, Forest, it was a lovely run, especially if you're in the bottom 6. You'll take that run all day long, won't you? 3 wins and 3 draws in 6. But, yeah, disappointing one there, and then a postponement versus Coventry. And, yeah, Barnsley, we tend to imagine they're sort of probably going to finish somewhere between 9th and 13th. And they tend to beat the teams below them. So wherever that ends up, they'll beat the teams below them, and we'll know what they are by the end of the season, if that's not stating the bleeding obvious. What are you guys saying in the chat? Doogie Friedman. Did he play for Barnsley? Definitely played for Forest, didn't he? What are you guys saying? Barnsley played well against Norwich and Cardiff. They need to get cute like Cardiff did, attacking us, tackling hard and going down easily. But I feel we're good enough to get at least a draw. Yes, that type of gamesmanship does tend to come when you're winning, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? That little extra edge. And I would credit all of these teams at the top as being good sides. But Swansea, few tactical fouls the other night. I'm not saying they're a dirty team. I'm not saying they're an S-house team. A little bit time wasting at the end. Norwich, watch any Norwich home game and look at the bench jumping up for everything. And obviously a couple of penalties where they've been quite persuasive in their actions. Teams at the top are good at this type of thing, and you have to learn it because everyone's going to do it. So agreed with you there, Anthony. 2-0 Barnsley, 1-0 Barnsley, 2-0 Barnsley, 3-1 Barnsley. Chris says away. A lot of love for Barnsley here. 3-2 Barnsley, draw, 2-2, 2-1 Barnsley. Forest win by the odd goal. The Dickie Bird derby. Nice. What, from umpiring just down the road there? Steve Chettle, I'm going with that. Steve Chettle played in the playoff final for Barnsley, didn't he? When Ipswich won. Grabbing his helping Forest to win this one. Carl Tyler, nice. Barnsley, and a draw. We're not on Millwall yet, Alan. Next one. I'll hold your prediction for a sec. Away. Barnsley. Look, Barnsley are either going to win by 2 goals or Forest are going to S-house this one. I don't see a draw personally, but let's go for an away win in this one. Right, 2 to go. Cardiff versus Millwall. Mick is back, and having played one of his old clubs, he plays another of his old clubs. It's almost like he's represented everybody in this division. It's a bit like finding Neil Warnock derbies. This one may not be pretty, this one. Should we just call it the Mick McCarthy derby straight away and get that one over with? Both tied on 30 points. Both love a draw, don't they? Although the league table would intimate maybe I'm not right about that, but Mick's only been there for one game and he's already drawn 100% of his games. Let's have a look at the homes and aways. Cardiff at home are nowhere near as good as they should be. Look at that, 17th most points in the league, only 4 wins, 7 home defeats. Wow, you can see why Neil Harris went. Millwall away from home are good. They are 7th best or 7th most points in the league, and 7 points in the last 4 away games. I don't know why I'm padding this out. It's going to be a draw, isn't it? Horrible run recently for Cardiff, but obviously we do have to wipe the slate clean for Mick McCarthy to come in. Millwall, as we said, hard to beat away from home. A couple of good results of late, including an away win at Huddersfield, who used to be good at home, and, well, up until the last 2 games, and a draw at high-flying Watford. I'm going to go ahead of the comments and say draw. I've got way too many draws in my predictions this week, haven't I? Oh, no, I haven't. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Draw. Mick versus Rowett. What else could it be? I mean, really. Let's have a look. What are you guys saying? I looked it up. Doogie Friedman never played for Barnsley. Never mind. He should have. Sounds like a Dave Bassett type signing, doesn't he? Millwall win 2-0, says Alan. There we go. I said I'd read that one. For him, Nippon has just missed Forest, but we'll read it out anyway. Right, there we go. Wolf, the Brian Clark derby. Nice. Explain to me about that player. Brian was better than any forward on display. There we go. Love it. Share your knowledge with me, please. Cardiff Millwall, last 6 meetings have ended all square. Draw. 1-1, 1-0 Cardiff. This sounds dreadful. Draw. No know McCarthy than you. I don't know what that means. Not McCarthy. I don't know. I'll try and make head nor hair of that. Cardiff win away 3-1. Says Blue through and through. 1-0 Millwall. The Mick bounce. Draw 0-0. Dour. Boring. Awful game. Love it. Cardiff win. Jed Wallace to get another wonder goal. He scored a mega free kick, didn't he, in this game? Cardiff came back from 2-0 down against Barnsley in midweek. I think Cardiff will slaughter this one. 1-0 Millwall. This one sounds entertaining. Is that a Christmas jumper? No, it's a penguin. And I'm not reading your name, Barney. If anyone thinks Barney should go in the fake news sin bin for suggesting that having a penguin on your jumper is a Christmas jumper, dearie me. Let me know if he should go in and I'll put him in. Who's it? Joseph's the king of the fake news sin bin here. I think Millwall are starting to improve slightly. Away win, draw. I can't imagine how disheartened fans are when the likes of Mick McCarthy takes over. That's very disrespectful, Ben. Mick has been a great manager over his career. Not everybody can be playing open and expansive. I mean, how many teams in the Championship even try it? What? Norwich, Brentford, Huddersfield, Barnsley and Swansea, but they're a bit more balanced. Fake news. Should we put bits in there as well? Bin. So who am I putting in? I'm putting in Bits and I'm putting in Barney. They're both going in to the fake news sin bin for suggesting that this penguin jumper that even says Ice Penguin across the bottom there is a Christmas jumper. So Barney and Bits make their entrance into the fake news sin bin. I said draw. Let's move on to Birmingham versus Coventry. I'm sure we'll get the narrative of the weird fact that Coventry are playing an away game at their home stadium, etc. Let's have a look at the table and look at that. Coventry 3 points above Blues there. Coventry on 29, Birmingham on 26. The tide is high. Tide is rising at the bottom there. Rotherham have done well not to get left behind with those 7 points recently, haven't they? Do Birmingham get suckered down? I think they're close to signing someone for a fair old fee from Aberdeen. Don't know why I did that accent. I kind of pulled out halfway through from trying to do a faux Scotch accent there. Let's have a look at the homes and aways. Birmingham are the worst home team in the division. They have accumulated the least points and have 9 home defeats. Staggeringly bad home form. Coventry's away form is not much better. 2 away wins. They have 9 away points there. Remember, though, this is an away game for Coventry that's kind of really a home game, isn't it? What was Coventry's home form? I can't see them. Where are they? Help. Where are Coventry on that list? 11th. There we go. It didn't highlight it for me. Never mind. Let's have a look at the recent form. And there you have it. Birmingham in rubbish form, other than that away win at Borough. Were Borough just coming back from COVID? Did that affect them there? Otherwise, it's 4 points in 8 games. 0.5 points per game over 8 for Aitor Karanka. Not good. Coventry just keeping a nice total and a nice sort of run of form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games we've got up there, and we've got 8 points. It's going to be enough. They're over 8 points in 7 games, pretty much exactly what Coventry should be aiming to hit, and they will be utterly fine, won't they? They're 29 points in 25. The only worry for Coventry is either a big rise in the tide or some big slip in terms of form. Coventry, again, we'll talk about this on the transfer update, have signed a left back from Ross County, and Gyökeres obviously has come in on loan and already scored. I'm going to plead the fifth. What are you guys saying? Bid him. Penguins are not just for Christmas. Absolutely. Mick is an expert at getting promoted. and failing spectacularly in the Prem. Bits must have got that in just before he went in the bin. In the bin. There we go. Love that. Thank you. Love the jumper. Poor man's Warnock. There we go. Trillion Derby. Very, very much so. 1-0 Coventry. Oh, I like that. The Gary McSheffery Derby. McSheffery. Am I pronouncing that right? Draw. Coventry, easy. St Andrews Derby, 1-0 Cov. I bet that pitch is ripped to shreds. It will be a terrible game. 1-2, Gyökeres will keep scoring. Cov, a very good side at St Andrews. Birmingham are not away. It's hard to get your head around this. Home, says Blue through and through. Birmingham lost 6 games in a row. Or 6 home games in a row. Wow, 2 goals in the last 7. I can see Karanka grinding. I think you should look at Coventry's home form. Fair point. Pressure on Birmingham. 0-0. Why are we comparing homes and away forms? Yeah, tricky one this season. And especially given this game. Hit the like button, 2-2. Apologies for the McCarthy line, but he's a bit 1994. I'll push back. I'm defending Mick, aren't I? Mick did get promoted twice. And the latest time was 2009, wasn't it, with Wolves? So, yes, maybe his last success was 11 years ago. Did get Ipswich in the playoffs under Marcus Evans in 2015. So, yes, it may feel a little bit staid, but 1994, maybe 15 years too early, possibly. Game 2 of 4 at St Andrews in a row. Wow. Another massive 6-pointer. Birmingham have the worst home record in the league, whilst Coventry conceding 1 in 7 games, being a penalty in a 3-1 win. Nice. Karanka is terrible. Here we go on from Birmingham. Birmingham have lost their best player to Millwall. The corned beef. Kieftenbeld. Dilly Adebola and Gary McSheffery. Love it. We'll talk about that in the transfer roundup tomorrow morning. 1-0 to a team that plays at St Andrews. I like that. 0-0, 0-1. Anyone call you Benjamin or Penguin? There we go. Benjamin. I quite like that. Anyway, did I even make a prediction? Away win. Coventry to win. Birmingham's terrible home form to continue. Right. I'm going to have to bid everybody farewell. So we'll do the plugs and say thank you. Please hit like before you disappear, else Shaylee's going to be glowering at me and we're going to have to rush off to pick up the dogs. Let's quickly say a big thank you to the Donovan brothers in loving memory of Michael Donovan, South East London, a lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. They are our sponsors of the preview show on Patreon for the entire season. We thank them very, very kindly. As ever, thank you for the super chats. And Joseph, who was the king of the bin, get involved on Patreon, YouTube, subscribe, ring the bell notifications. Join us tonight for what will be guaranteed not to be a 0-0 draw between Reading and Bournemouth. And I will be debunking any disrespect about the watch-alongs being 0-0 with statistics. I'll get them for tonight. With all of that being said, Penguin, take care. Thank you, Anir. Paul, adios, Penguin. There we go. That can be my name. Well, that's not even going in the fake news sim, but I don't mind that, actually. Right, thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to go and find a couple of dogs with nice short hair. They look really cute when their hair's just been cut, don't they? Thank you, everybody, for watching. And it's a big old over and out from me. Goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.